First, I want to explain the syllabus. Some important points, mainly requirements for the coursework. For this course, we will have 5 modules total. Today we start Module 1, Basic Concepts and Programming Basics. So we do some preparation. Module 1, we will have 4 parts, part A, B, C, D. So today, part A, explain the syllabus and overview of programming environment. All right. First, I want to talk about our, for the whole semester, look at the academic calendar. So here you can see we will lose 2 classes due to the holidays. Yeah. So our classes are on Monday and Wednesday. The first one we will lose September 7th, Monday. First one. Second one, November 11th, Wednesday, Veterans Day. So we will lose 2 classes. So total we have 28 classes. So we need to, complete covering all the content in my plan in these 28 class sessions. But it's not very hard because it's a long semester, so we have a lot of chances, so we can, handle that 2-day losses. Yeah. All right. So then, from this calendar, you can see in this place, this is our fall break. The good thing is we will not lose any class in this fall break. The second thing is this fall break is approximately the midpoint of the whole semester. That means our midterm, we need to do midterm after this fall break. So specifically, the midterm exam, it will be after this fall break, the second week, not first week. Okay, yeah. So the second week after the fall break, we will do midterm. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a in-class test. Yeah. So we have 75 minutes, the whole class. So you need to complete that midterm test in these 75 minutes. Final, it's longer, so it's a 2-hour test. Midterm, 75-minute test. So, time, you can see the big difference. Midterm, final, yeah. The reason behind it, also midterm, the work we will do relatively easier. Final, the work we will do much harder. Yeah, so that's the reason, the difference. The midterm, at that point, what we will learn regarding the SQL queries, because for this class, the main block, the core part for this course, that's the SQL queries. Yeah. So we have other parts, other blocks, but the most important part is the SQL queries. Yeah. At midterm, that point, what we will learn simple queries, basic queries, much easier. But at the final, we will do many complex queries. So the question is much harder. So we need more time. But 2 hours should be enough. All right. So then, so that's the next, the test time. I give you the specific test dates. Each test, 14%. This Wednesday, October 21st, Wednesday, that's our midterm time. The second week after the fall break. So that final question? Any question? Yeah. So no problem. So that time. So because you will see based the timeline. So that's the best time for us to do the midterm. All right. Final exam, Monday, December 14th. These 2 hours. Okay. Try to make your plan. So you have plenty of time to make arrangement for final exam. So in case you have some time management question, you can let me know, so I can find a way to let you do it easily. Sometimes some students traveling or some so very special reason. So I'll try to find a way. Let you do the final. All right. Then the coursework part. 3 homework assignments, each one 10%, total 30%. 3 homework assignments. So basically, in these 3 homework assignments, we need to do concept questions. We need to understand the theoretical part of databases. So the concepts, many properties, a lot of knowledge related things we need to. That's the first part. Second part, query questions. We need to practice, do a lot of query questions. 3 assignments, 2 of them before the midterm. So that's why we cannot do midterm too early, because we need to do 2 of the 3 assignments before the midterm. So we will practice SQL queries twice in these 2 assignments. All about the basic queries. Not very hard, but we need to practice in these 2 assignments. So we will be ready by our midterm test. After midterm, we only do 1 assignment. Assignment number 3, 1 assignment. That 1 assignment, that is a very difficult assignment. In that assignment, we will do complex queries. Relatively difficult. So it's not, so much harder, but doable. Doable. So then in the final, that 2 hours in the final, the whole 2 hours, here we will do 15 complex query questions in this classroom. 15 complex. But although 15, but first a few questions still relatively easier. First a few questions. The first half relatively easier. The second half relatively hard. So that's our plan. SQL queries. So we target. That's the most important knowledge block for this course, SQL queries. Other than that, yeah, so we have a few other blocks, yeah, two other blocks. One, theoretical understanding. We need to understand a lot of concepts, properties, yeah, also important. Yeah. Another one, programming. Yeah. We need to, do two programming projects. Connect to databases. Yeah. Yeah. Because we need to make connections. The reason the database, this SQL knowledge, very important in the real world applications, because all important business applications rely on business data, SQL queries. So that's why we want to make connection. Yeah. We do some web applications using databases. Yeah. So let you feel about, in the real world. So what we are going to do, yeah, so this kind of applications. Yeah. So let you have some hands-on experience related to the real world applications. But the project not very hard. Yeah. So reasonable projects. Yeah. Yeah. You can do it easily. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So then these three homework assignments. So I give you the duration of each assignment. Yeah. About 12 days. So you have plenty of time to work each assignment. 25 questions. 4 points each. Okay. Yeah. Usually not very hard. Yeah. This class actually is not a very hard one. Yeah. Not a very, comparing to algorithms, this one much easier. Yeah. But you still, for the query part, still there are many challenging questions in the query part. The knowledge part, much easier. Yeah. Yeah. Quizzes, total 5 quizzes. Yeah. Yeah. So I will drop 2 lowest scores. So only take the top 3 of your scores. So we will have 12%. So the total quiz part, 12%. Yeah. Quizzes, all of them, all 5 quizzes, online quizzes, not in classroom quizzes, because our classroom time very precious. So I don't want to use our classroom time to do the quizzes. So we will do online quizzes, all 5 online quizzes. And the duration of each quiz, online quiz, greater or equal to 1 week. 1 week. Yeah. Mainly, so use these 5 quizzes to help you study, the module. So you learn a few parts in the modules. You need to digest. Yeah. So you need to have a better understanding. So then you work on the quiz questions. No time limit. Yeah. So no time limit. So you only need to submit it by the deadline. Yeah. Yeah. So pressure is not very high. Yeah. And I will use Canvas quiz tool to, run these 5 quizzes. Yeah. So you did that before, I believe. Yeah. So, 10 questions, 10 concept questions. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so that's the quiz part. Then project part, 2 programming projects. Yeah. So here, some part, because some students may worry a little bit. So here I want to, help you. Do not get intimidated. Yeah. So I want to, because this is not a programming course. This is a database course. So the main part is not programming. Yeah. Because the programming experience is important for this course. Yeah. So that's why I put 2 programming projects. Yeah. But I also, based on my previous experience, many students, they may not have a lot of web programming background, right? Yeah. So for approximately half of the students in this class, so they are beginners for web programming. Beginners. Yeah. So for experienced web programmers, so then it's not too hard. But for beginners, so I want to, explain a little more, so you do not feel too hard for the programming part. Yeah. So we need to learn. Yeah. So for some beginners, they do not have any web programming knowledge. Because this course, we do not require our first web programming course, 3010, as the prerequisite. We do not require that. Yeah. Yeah. So I need to make arrangement so that even for students without web programming knowledge, you can still do it, complete the 2 programming projects. You need to learn. Use these 2 programming projects to help you learn the basic web programming knowledge. Yeah. So we actually, so this course is designed to help those beginner students learn web programming knowledge. So that's another purpose for this course, because that knowledge is important. We need to pick it up. Okay, yeah, because for some students, they through different courses, pathways, some students, because based on recent communication, some students do not take 3010 before they get to this course. So I help those students to learn the web programming knowledge through this course. Okay, all right. So based on that consideration, so I plan to do this way, these 2 programming projects. The first one, completely designed for beginners. Pick up the basic knowledge. Yeah. For experienced, so you can do, much faster, yeah. So but you still need to do a lot of work, right? You still need to do a lot of work. Yeah. So still, non-trivial, still non-trivial. Yeah. All right. So, first project, second project. Second project. All right. So I plan to do this. First project. Because at that time, when I assigned you the first programming project, at that time, we haven't learned a lot of SQL query knowledge. Yeah. So it take quite long to learn even the basic SQL queries. Yeah. Take quite some time. Yeah. Because a lot of preparation we need to do. Yeah. So when I assign the first programming project, we are not ready to do the SQL programming. So that's why. So for that reason, our first project, we do not use the SQL queries. So we practice basic web techniques. Basic web techniques for preparation. Yeah, because many beginner students, they need to learn basic web knowledge, right? Web programming knowledge. So this first project is designed to help those beginner students pick up the basic web programming knowledge. Yeah. Like HTML, yeah. So we need to use some HTML, CSS, and a JavaScript. Yeah, so that's the basic knowledge blocks for web programming. Yeah. We do not need to use too much, just enough to do this project. Yeah. So the interface, layout, web components, some basic. So you need to use HTML, CSS. Yeah. Then you need some dynamic features, right? Dynamic features. We use JavaScript for dynamic features. Yeah. Yeah. Some basic functionality. Yeah. And specifically, I plan to do a puzzle question. Yeah. So what kind of puzzle? There is a puzzle called a tangram. Have you heard of that? Tangram puzzle. Tangram. Ancient Chinese puzzle. 7 pieces. You break a square into 7 pieces. Triangles, parallelogram, rectangles, square, a small square, 7 pieces, in some smaller way. Then you break those 7 pieces, then put them in different locations to form different figures. There are thousands of figures you can use those 7 pieces to make. Animals, so many. There are many web pages showing you all different figures tangram can do. Yeah. So what we are going to do? Yeah. We need to create a tangram square, break them into pieces. Yeah. So you need to draw 7 different geometric figures, triangle of different sizes, using different colors. Yeah. So in that way, we practice CSS knowledge. We use CSS way to draw tangram pieces. Yeah. So let you practice CSS a little bit. Yeah. Not too much. You just need some basic experience, basic knowledge, basic experience. All right. Then, we need to move those 7 pieces, right? Yeah, because you need to, when you make different figures, you need to move those 7 pieces. So we need to do drag and drop. So drag and drop to control those 7 pieces, to put them in different locations. So we use JavaScript to do it. JavaScript supports that drag and drop features. So I will give you examples. I will give you JavaScript drag and drop example. So the code. I explain the code, how to do drag and drop. Okay. Then it's very easy. You just use the JavaScript example, drag and drop example. Okay, you can draw 7 pieces. Then we need to do some features. Yeah. So tangram, some move. We need to adjust the location. We need to do the rotations, right? Yeah. So a lot of features, drag and drop rotations, move up, down, left, right. A lot of things we can do. Yeah. So in that way, to practice the 3 knowledge block, basic knowledge blocks for web programming. Yeah. In that way, yeah. So even beginner students, yeah, just learning. Okay. Yeah. So that's the first project. Yeah. No database related. So preparation for web programming. Second project, then we will do the client and the server. Yeah. We need a real web project. Web programming project, you need to have client-side programming and a server-side programming, right? Our first project, only client-side programming. Yeah, because that puzzle, you do not need a server-side. You can do it at the client side. Yeah. Yeah. So you use a web browser. You do not need to download any software. Yeah, actually, yeah. So for the first one, you don't need to download any software. Yeah. Any web browser supports these 3 technologies: HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So web browser is good enough to do your first project. No software installation needed for the first one. Yeah? Yeah? Question?
Not to jump ahead, but are we going to use Visual Studio for that, or
That's your option.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's your option. So
okay.
Any IDE, so favorite IDE. But for this course, my recommended IDE, I will use NetBeans. NetBeans. Yeah. So I will talk about that later. IDE. So I will use that. Free. Easy to use. Yeah. Because later we need to also do the server-side programming. Yeah. So using that NetBeans. Yeah. So one of the main IDEs in the market. Yeah. Although Visual Studio, very powerful. That one, but you have freedom to choose. Yeah, you have freedom to choose.
And you're going to literally build it in the browser, using web dev tools. So I was going to say that would be interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, because
do that, I guess.
no, I don't want to spend too much time on web programming. So I try to do the minimum for our beginner students. So I will not,
Make it too complicated.
Yeah, make it too complicated. Yeah, make it too complicated.
Sorry.
Yeah. So especially because our students, many of our students, they haven't taken the 3010. Yeah, I need to put that into consideration. Yeah. So make those students not too much harder for those students.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Because our main part is the SQL part. Yeah. So this part, we know important. Yeah. But we want to control in a reasonable level. Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's the first project. Yeah. Try to. So here you can see my main design points. First, want to make it as easy as possible to make the first project not that too much harder for our beginner students, right? Do not give them too much pressure. Yeah. Second, I also want to make them do some interesting, fun project.
Get the client side down.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Client side are very important, right?
Yeah. That way we can visualize what we're doing.
Yeah. Right.
Backside.
Yeah. Yes.
No,
yeah.
that makes total sense.
Yes.
Sounds like a good plan.
software setup, minimum, right? Yeah. For the first project, setting up our programming environment, minimum. Almost nothing. Almost nothing. You can get it started. Yeah. Because I make this change in recent years. Before, in the first programming project, we need to do the, SQL database queries. In that one, and both client and server side. So then we need to, set up, install, exam.
It'd be like going to
Yeah.
calculus without algebra.
Right? But that software installation
Yeah.
takes a lot of time for some of the students. Some of students, installation, a lot of different problems.
Past installation, and
Yeah.
just even kind of like getting used to playing around with HTML and CSS,
Yeah.
and then breaking in JavaScript for functionality. So yeah,
Yes.
I think you would be moving without one leg if you were trying to go into SQL without
Yeah.
basic web
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yes, yes. So that's why, so we make the change like this. Yeah. That second programming project, we need to do both client and server. Yeah. So that, because the server side is very important. And when we do database queries, we do it at the server side. Yeah. We do not do it at the client side. Yeah. So we have to do it at the server side, database queries. Yeah. So that's why, our second project, we need to do the understanding in that point. Yeah. And actually, I make my second project much easier for beginner students. Yeah. Because in the short period, for this class, the whole semester, so many things we need to do. So still quite short, right? Yeah, because after we cover SQL queries, we do not have much time left to cover web programming, right? We know web programming is a big course, right? We do not have that much time to cover web programming. Yeah. So my second project, I also modify to make our beginner students much easier to handle second web programming project. So the way I'm going to use, I give you a sample project to get it started. Sample project. Yeah. Sample project, basically the foundation, basic architecture, the setup, connection, those things are already there. Okay? Yeah. Client server communications, right? Basic communications, basic features. I will give you in my sample project. Okay? Yeah. I will give you the code to get started. Yeah. I explain the code, my code. Yeah. Yeah. For beginner students, you only need to understand, digest. Yeah. Then the programming part, I ask you to do some new features, related to the database queries. In that way, yeah, for beginner students, not that hard, right? Yeah. So you do not start from scratch. Okay? Yeah. So you have a good starting point. A good starting point. But you need to apply some knowledge, okay, to implement some new features. When you do that, new feature implementations, you can understand, the relationship between the SQL queries and the real-world web applications. Just get that kind of experience. Yeah. So that's, I feel, appropriate for this class, for beginner students. Yeah. For experience, usually I give optional challenging features for experienced students. Yeah. So you can do some optional features. Yeah. A little more challenging to earn extra credit. Okay? Yeah. 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 So that's my plan. Yeah. Sounds okay? Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that's the project part. Attendance. Yeah. So attendance, because it's important for the whole class. Yeah. But I will try my best to make sure no student misses any class. So for that reason, I do the video recording. Okay? Yeah. So in case you miss small number of classes, so you can pick it up easily through the videos. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, so here I do not need to write. I just talk. Yeah. Yeah. 3 types of attendance. The first one is regular, normal classroom attendance. Yeah. Second, Zoom attendance. Yeah. Yeah. Because here I use Zoom to project my PowerPoint slides. Yeah. I already use the Zoom meeting. Yeah. So you can access my Zoom meeting anywhere. Yeah. So in that way, I also treat. If I can see you in my Zoom meeting room, yeah, so that's the acceptable attendance. Yeah. Yeah. So even not here, different locations, I put my Zoom ID in the syllabus. Yeah. So the top part, information part, you can find my Zoom ID. Yeah. So the fixed same ID, no password for the whole semester. Yeah. Yeah. Then video attendance. Yeah. Because if the time is not convenient, some students may travel for business sometimes, or for even some family things. Yeah. So not available in a small number of class sessions. They can watch the videos later. Then I will post discussion board in Canvas. So those students can claim the video attendance in the discussion board in Canvas. Yeah. After they watch the videos. Yeah. So in this way, yeah. So nobody should miss any lecture. Yeah. So that's the attendance part. Yeah. And then the last part, extra credit. Yeah. So extra credit, the online evaluation, that 1%, but I will use the 80% line. Yeah. So we target the 80% of the students in this class. I encourage you do online evaluation, yeah, pass this 80% line. Okay? All right. That means if the whole class, yeah, because in Canvas I have a page to see the figure, okay, yeah, a pie chart, yeah, so I can take a screenshot, post that screenshot to let you see the percentage, the current percentage. Yeah. If the whole class passed that 80%, then you can earn that full 1% extra credit. Yeah. So everyone gets this full 1% extra credit. If not past that line, the whole class percentage is smaller than 80%, yeah, let's say 73%. How about that? Yeah. Smaller than that. Then the extra credit, I will give you each student 0.73%. Yeah. Corresponding that percentage. Okay? Yeah. So in this way, encourage, passing that 80%. After 80%, then we don't worry. Okay, yeah. So, not important. Yeah. After 80%. So that's the policy. And early project submission up to 1% each. I plan to run in this way. 1 week earlier, I encourage you to work on project as early as possible, yeah, to earn extra credit. Yeah. Because if I do not require this, if many students, they delay near the deadline, yeah, very close to the deadline, then to do that programming project, you need to do a lot of work. How can you do it in a short period of time? It's very hard. Yeah. So in this way, I try to encourage our students, if 1 week earlier, that's worth 1% extra credit. Yeah. But yeah, I also encourage, if not 1 week, just a few days earlier, I still give you extra credit, but I will scale down a little bit. Yeah. So it's like if D days earlier, yeah, D less than 7, D days earlier, I give you D seventh times 1%. Sorry, 1%. D seventh. Okay? 6 days, 6/7 of 1%. 3 days earlier, 3/7 of 1%. Like that. Yeah. You know. Yeah. So in this way, try your best. If you want to earn extra credit, yeah, try your best. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Another thing, I accept late submission. Yeah. Late submission. Yeah. Late submission, I may give small penalty. Yeah. Reasonable. So, because I want all students do all the projects. Do not miss, because the weight of project is very, very big, 14%. The same as test, right? Midterm, final, each one 14%. Each project, the same weight as a test. How can you miss that? Okay, you cannot miss that. So that's why I accept late submission, because I don't want you to miss too much in the overall average. But I need to give reasonable penalty. Yeah. Because it's late. Yeah. Yeah. So that's my basic plan for this semester. Yeah. Any question? Yeah. Yeah.
In the syllabus, it says that the textbook requirement is fundamentals of database. I assume you're going to be providing that then, because it was not at the bookstore.
Oh, yeah. Not in the bookstore. Yeah. Oh, yeah, online. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Right. So, yeah, so you can use the online way. Yeah. You know. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, different. Yeah. Yeah, good. Yeah, $16. Yeah. After that, you can sell. You know. Yeah. After the class. Not very expensive. Yeah. Yeah, but this one, I don't know. Some of textbooks, we can find PDF files, right? Yeah. But this one, I don't know. Yeah. Because for my algorithm class, we can find a PDF file online. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Next, let me see how much time I have left. Oh, not too much. Yeah. But I need to set a timer, so I do not, get too late. Yeah, let me set a 15 minutes timer. Yeah. All right, now we can talk about programming environment. Oh, Another thing, before the programming, I need to talk about how do I post notes. Yeah. So before the class and after the class. Yeah. So before each class, so I will post the PDF version. Of the notes. Yeah. So you can see, what content we are going to cover. Yeah. Then, after class, all right. Then, I have several files I need to post. One is the PPT version. Another is PDF annotation file. Because I put a lot of information in my annotations. Yeah. So that information also very important. Yeah. Because when I explain things, the PPT file, I cannot put too much information, right? Overwhelming. Yeah. I just put like guideline things. Yeah. So a lot of information I need to give it to you through annotations. So that file also important. Yeah. So after class, I post this annotation file. Then the video file, I will post in HTML format. Yeah, HTML format. In my HTML format, I will put the image links, image my PowerPoint slide. I select the face page, cover page of PowerPoint slides, so about a topic. Yeah. But it's an image as the let you click that image. So it's a link to my YouTube videos. Yeah. When you click, you go to YouTube, my channel, to watch the videos. Yeah. So this way, so you may wonder, some of you may wonder why I use this way to post the videos. The reason is Canvas blocks all the external videos in recent 2 years. Before, they did not block. They didn't block. Before, I can post my YouTube videos through Canvas directly, just embedded into my Canvas page. So you click, the Canvas play that YouTube video in the small window inside Canvas directly. Yeah. But probably for some security consideration, they completely block that. Even YouTube links, they disable. So I just post YouTube links. When you click, it doesn't work. Yeah. So to get around that Canvas blocking, so I use my own HTML file. Then I put an image, my own file, but I still, because many times embedded videos are blocked. So I try to avoid embedded videos. I just use image links. Yeah. So then after you download it, it is your local file, right, on your local machine. Local file, so it's not controlled by Canvas. So you just click the image link, you can see the video. Yeah. So I use that way to get around Canvas blocking. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so that's the notes after. So I put these files in a zip file. So you download my zip file. unzip it. Yeah, so that's your logo. So I put it in the folder. So after unzip it, you get a folder. Yeah, so 3 files inside. Yeah, so you watch the video, annotation, in that way. Yeah. All right. So that's the main items. So I need to explain in the syllabus. Yeah. All right. Then, so now let's look at the, several things, basic things for this class, the content. Yeah. Content we are going to learn for this class. Yeah. Part 1, fundamentals. So the first part, we need to learn the basic knowledge of the databases, the fundamental part. Yeah. So these 3 chapters, basic concepts, the structure of relational databases, the basic structure. Yeah. So I will show you some examples. Yeah. So that's the part 1. Yeah. Part 2, SQL queries. Yeah. So we need to, after we have some basic knowledge, then we can start do SQL queries. Yeah. Chapter 6, that's the basic SQL. So that's before our midterm. So before midterm, we just do the basic SQL. Practice, because a lot of concepts we need to understand. Not just the syntax, right? Syntax. So a lot of the theoretical knowledge we need to understand, behind the SQL queries. So then, chapter 7, complex queries. So that part, so we leave it after the midterm. Yeah, because at that time we have a lot of knowledge. Yeah. Yeah. So we just work on the advanced part. Yeah. So a lot of things very tricky. So we, try to, expand our knowledge base. Yeah. All right. So that's part 2. Part 3, algorithms. So we also need to understand. So behind the scene, so people cannot see it. Yeah. How to make the database queries very fast. Yeah. So the algorithms, although we do not need to write our own algorithms, so because most people will not do things like that. But we want to understand those algorithms, how to make the, data query much faster. Yeah. So that's a very important. Yeah. Find your data in the fastest possible way. Yeah. So that's another important block of knowledge for this class. Yeah. All right. So that's part 3. Part 4, the current trend. Yeah, because in our current trend, there is another important, relatively new block of knowledge we need to learn. That's the non-relational database. Non-traditional, non-relational. Yeah, relational is a very old technology, but it's still very important, dominant in the market. So we need to learn the relational databases. But in the social media era, current trend, social media, very popular era, then many social media related information search, not using relational databases, a new type of database. NoSQL, non-traditional databases, NoSQL. Okay, not only SQL, NoSQL. And so that basic idea. So we also need to learn a little bit. I mean, just some basic knowledge, because we do not have a lot of time to to go that direction. Yeah. We just want to learn some basic knowledge. Yeah. So these 4 parts we are going to cover for this course. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Then another part, basic web programming, right? Yeah. Basic programming, so we do not need another textbook, yeah, because this is another web programming course. So I rely on W3 Schools, some online resource, yeah, to help beginners, yeah, because that popular website mainly, provide friendly tutorials for beginners. Yeah. So I use this website to teach the basic web knowledge. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that's the. And NoSQL, this part, yeah. So I try my best. Yeah. So because I may like to show you a few simple examples. So there are tutorials, MongoDB tutorial. Yeah. So show you a few simple examples. Yeah. So I may not cover a lot of things, just basic ideas, the basic points. Yeah. Yeah. So that's my plan. Then overview of programming environment. All right. Now, yeah. So I talked a little bit about programming, right? I spent some time to first project, second project. Yeah. Now the programming environment. Yeah. Web technology components. Yeah. Client side. Yeah. Client side. Yeah. So I do not try to give you some, overwhelming client-side technologies. Yeah. I try to minimize it, for beginners, just enough for this class. Okay. Yeah. So HTML, the basic part, CSS, yeah, CSS, yeah, I may want to include that Bootstrap a little bit. Yeah. Small features. We just touch a little bit. Yeah, some buttons, icons, some layout related, Yeah. Yeah. So this Bootstrap package inside CSS also available in W3 Schools. Yeah. Yeah. And JavaScript. So basic JavaScript. So minimum. I want to control just enough for this class. Yeah. So I will give you many JavaScript examples to get you started. Yeah. Yeah. So the main features we need to use. Yeah. So basically, I will give you examples to get started. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And a jQuery, Ajax, JSON. Yeah. So some related, some technologies related to JavaScript inside JavaScript. Sub technologies inside JavaScript. Yeah. So I try to explain a little bit. Yeah. Not too much. So basic ideas. So then I give you some code examples. Yeah. Yeah. And some features we need to use these technologies to implement. Yeah. Yeah. So I try to make it minimum, but still, if I feel not too hard, we do not need to spend too much time, then I try to cover it. So that's the client side technologies. Oh, yeah. So I need to complete Server side, yeah, we will use PHP. Yeah. Easy to learn, very easy to learn. Yeah. The syntax, very easy to understand. Yeah. So, and I'll give you sample project, code examples, to get you started. Yeah. So then I will explain my code, the logic, the algorithm, logic, so help you understand. Yeah. Then, so you need to write your own code to add some new features into the project. Yeah. So that's the, general plan for this class. Yeah. All right, that's it. Yeah. So the first class. Second class, I will post the notes before the class, so you know what I'm going to cover before the class.